I remember in the weeks after Katrina, you and I were sleeping in the rental cars at night, and at the end of the day, we would both talk about what we'd witnessed, whether it be the convention center, charity hospital. And what image sticks with you the most 5 years later?
Well, I think the one that's most upsetting to me is we're driving down the road, Jim Hill and I, the producer, and we suddenly saw right at the end of the street, underneath these traffic lights of this major city in the United States of New Orleans, a dead body right along the curb on the grass. No one had picked them up. The National Guard had flown them away. The police haven't picked them up. The firefighters have not taken her away. Her name was Vera, is all that we knew, except that there was one man, a neighbor, that was there, threw a blanket over the top of the body, and then started burying her in dirt. He said that the nun would not ever forgive him if he did nothing like this. We had a chance also then, 2 days ago, to actually go back to that spot with the man who had done that kind of digging to bury that great woman. And now they've created this shrine as a memorial to her for the rest of her life. And hopefully it'll stay there in that exact spot where we saw that 5 years ago.
I know his tears haven't been erased when you talked to him just this week. Still so emotional for the people of New Orleans, but is there a noticeable change in the vibe 5 years later?
Well, it depends who you talk to. Some people are very honest about it, very open about it. Other ones are really kind of not talking about it much anymore. But I did get a chance to go back to the hospitals that you and I witnessed, the most horrific things that we've seen. You know, went back to the ones like Charity Hospital where you were, and I remember 5 years ago going through these hospitals, and in the beds there were patients who were actually dying. They were not going to survive because there's no electricity in there. There's nothing much to do about it. So finally they went up to the roof, and these paramedics were actually in there with helicopters taking them away. And 5 years ago, I talked to one guy. He was one of the pilots that I saw, and he was in tears then. Had a chance yesterday to actually fly over the city again, and he had the same exact feelings as he did back then. Take a listen.
I like this job.
You know that we've seen so many tears. People really have actually reacted the same way as they had before. This has been a big change.